Yo, it's Real 92.3, man. Bootleg Kev, DJ Head. We
West
have
Coast.
got. It's very, very seldom that we could say we have an icon and a legend in the building.
Both
Both.
simultaneously.
Janet Jackson is here, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Janet.
Miss Jackson.
Hello.
You have a new song with Daddy Yankee,
Yes.
which I thought was dope because I'm a big Daddy Yankee fan. I always say he's like the Jay-Z of the Latin world. What made you want to work with Daddy Yankee?
Well, I recorded the song over a year ago, actually, and decided, okay, maybe it might be fun to put somebody on it. And Daddy told me that he had heard the song and he had to be on it. And that's how it actually happened, really.
Oh, wow.
And he put his piece on it, and I listened to it, and it was already a really feel-good song. And what he did with it, it made it that much sweeter.
How much unreleased? I feel like we've been waiting for new Janet music for so long. How much music are you sitting on right now?
That's been unreleased?
Yeah.
There's a lot of music that I've recorded that no one has ever heard.
Like ever.
Ever.
That's crazy.
A lot. And it's so funny because sometimes Jimmy and myself, or Terry and myself, they'll text me and say, they'll send me something, and I go, oh my gosh.
I forgot I did this.
I forgot about that.
No bet no one's ever going to hear it.
Yeah, it's a lot of music.
That's crazy.
Do you feel like when you go in the studio, do you have to do you go in with a purpose, like as far as like making a record, like this is for this or this is for this, or do you just create freely? Because I know a lot of legends, they say that they just create and then whatever comes out comes out.
Well, it's all of my records have been autobiographical. They're my diaries.
Right.
So what's going on in my life at that moment has been that album, like Velvet Rope or Control or the Janet album, and so on. With this project, which is still work in progress, it's just been a fun process, and it's been different for me because I have my son now, so that's been a completely different.
It's like a different writing perspective.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff that I've been writing about, but it's nice though.
Nice. You mentioned Velvet Rope, and I'm a huge Jay Dilla fan. And you got to work with Jay Dilla on the Don't Know What You Got remix. Was that like a process where you guys were in the studio together? How did that?
No, we weren't in the studio together, and especially back then, you would just send, the work to the producer.
And then they bounce it back to you.
Exactly, and they create, or they give you a little sample of something and say, is this in the ballpark? And you say, yeah, I'm feeling this, and then they would complete the body of work.
There's a lot of dope music out right now. I heard that you're a big fan of like Daniel Caesar, who's amazing. What have you been able to listen to Nicki's new album at all, Queen?
No, I haven't. There's a few things that I haven't listened to just yet that I have to catch up on, but I hear it's nice.
Yeah, it's a great album. Have you seen like any of her like outlandish? She's been kind of out like lashing out at the world lately.
Right.
Have you seen any of that?
No, I've heard some things, but I haven't seen it.
What kept you, like, you being the person that you are, like, you always are very sweet and respectful and all that, angelic. That's the word I used to describe when I was talking to Big Boy. But what kept you, like, humble as far as, because you are, like, one of the biggest artists ever to exist. And I've never seen or heard a story where you went off the rails and became a diva or rude to people. Like, what is that? Is that something intrinsically, or how does that work?
I think everybody has their moments, but honestly, it stems from your parents, really, if you ask me, and how my parents raised us. It's so funny because my brother Randy and I, we always talk about how you'd go perform for 20,000 people, and the next day you'd fly home, and your parents be waking you up at 7 a.m. and say, all right, the yard has to be raked.
Wow.
The dog cages have to be cleaned, and the kitchen is dirty. And we had a housekeeper. There was a houseman, but the housekeeper was there to make sure we made up our rooms, cleaned our rooms properly. So that's really what it was about for us. And Mike, Randy, and myself, we used to, after dinner, clean up the kitchen, and we'd sing 3-part harmony and make up songs
While cleaning.
While cleaning.
Wow.
Damn.
So my parents, growing up, they still have the house. It was 3 acres. So imagine it.
Was this in Gary?
No, this is in Encino.
Okay.
So tons of leaves everywhere.
Oh, I can
and I was
imagine.
in charge of keeping the animals clean. So I had to wash them and clean the cages and feed them. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So making sure we did our chores, and that kept us grounded. You hated it at the time. When you get older, you realize
That it taught you and instilled some values in you.
And I think that has a lot to do with the way my family is today within this industry.
Well, our condolences. Obviously, your dad passed away recently, so our condolences. What is some stuff? Obviously, you mentioned now you have your own child. Like, what are some things that your dad kind of taught you that maybe you're implementing in your own parenting? Like,
Well, not just as of yet, because he's only a year and 7 months, but it would be hard work. Whatever it is, you work very hard at it and you stay focused. To respect others and but also to have others respect you. There's a few things and stay away from all that.
Yeah, I heard you're a big fan of
Go ahead.
Okay, no, I heard you're a big fan of SZA. Are you a fan?
SZA,
Her.
Who else you like?
I like you mentioned, Daniel Caesar. I love listening to J. Cole.
Oh, J. Cole's amazing. I mean, you had J. Cole on your project.
Yeah, I just think he's wonderful, and I love the way he writes. Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
We finally met.
How'd that meeting go?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, there's a joke in here.
No, there's not. No,
it was very brief because I went to his concert. It was before we started the State of the World tour in last year. And I was with all the kids, the J Tribe, the dancers, and afterward we just exchanged a few words and said hi and took a few pictures. It was nice to finally meet him because I had learned of him before he became successful. So then, and I said, "Oh, this kid is really interesting." And I saw him on this really late night show. I said, "He's got a pretty nice future ahead of him."
Of course, yeah.
And then the next thing I know, I'm getting this email stating that there's this artist named such and such, and he wants to. I said, I know who he is.
Keeping your ear to the street. Can you give us some insight on what it was like, working with Tupac on Poetic Justice?
I
like you got a story with Pac that you could share with us.
The anniversary's coming up with
Pac was crazy, and I adored him so. And he was one way, I think, the way people saw him, and not to say that wasn't him, but he was also had another side to him where he was fun and silly, and he used to call me Square all the time.
He used to call you a Square?
Square, what's up, Square? But he...
Because you weren't participating in
the foolishness.
The foolishness.
It's because, I guess, because I'm very quiet, and I would just sit back and watch and laugh, but there were times when he was late for the set.
And you were on time.
And we were
so you're on time and he's late.
And we were waiting patiently, and he's back at his hotel.
Probably with some Alizé. And
right.
Telling there, he said, the longer you knock, the longer I'm going to sit in this bed.
Wow.
Wow.
So he was a diva.
No, I wouldn't. Honestly, I think he's really special, or he was very special, incredibly talented, and definitely an icon. And I remember when he got
Thug Life.
Yeah, when we were doing Poetic Justice.
He got that tattooed during that movie?
Was it like on set or?
No.
Oh, okay.
We had, it was over the weekend, and he said, "Hey, Square," and I said, "Yeah," and he went like this with his shirt. I said, "When did you get that?" He said, "Yeah, over the weekend."
So it was fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh. And he loved it though, but for me, he wasn't a diva. And he's just so much talent and so brilliant here. Just so smart.
He was an incredible actor. I feel like he could have
Really
won an
wonderful.
Oscar if he not passed
Really
before his
wonderful.
time.
Really
100%.
Are you diving back into the acting at all? Like, 'cause I know you had the Nutty Professor. You got a nice little catalog too.
The Tyler Perry stuff.
I've been asked to, and I've been given scripts, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I know you got to go. Last question that I have. What's your thoughts on current state of R&B? Because R&B kind of took a hit. It's not really at the forefront like it used to be, I guess. And a lot of people, people that I talk to say that R&B's over with, that kind of thing. But then you have artists like LMA, who's huge right now, buzzing.
Daniel Caesar.
Frank Ocean.
It'll never go away.
Traditional R&B.
It'll never go away. Just like when rap first came on the scene, I had a lot of journalists asking me, "Oh, it's here to stay and gone tomorrow." I said,
Right.
I disagree. And I was just a kid. I said, I think it's going to be around a hell of a lot longer than what you think. And it's never going to go away. I mean, it's where it all stems from. It's the soul music. It's
kind of the
us.
roots of what's going, like
Yeah,
the root of where hip hop came from,
It
and
will never go away. And then on top of that, when they felt that it was going away, you had kids like
Frank Ocean, The Weeknd.
but even the pop artists. Why can't I think of her? Miley Cyrus doing the what was the song that she can't? I can't.
Wrecking Ball.
Before that, before the first single that she had.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But Miley was making some shit. Like
Yeah, but what did you say?
no.
No. It was in the lane of being
R&B.
Yeah,
R&B
she had
music.
some
Right.
vibes.
is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So they were starting
Even
to
Justin
call
Bieber.
They were calling it pop music when it's R&B music. It
No,
will never
100%.
go away.
100%.
Gotcha.
And it's and we're diving back into our own.
I mean, Justin Bieber makes R&B music. You know?
Yeah,
That's
We're
facts.
it's not going anywhere.
Well, the new song with Daddy Yankee, new video is out. It's dope. We're gonna get a new album, I hope, soon.
We'll see. I've been working on music for a while, and everyone's been wanting an album. I'll see if it'll be an album. I'll see what I want to do with it.
All right. I also would like to just end the interview by saying I want to see you work with like some more rappers. You know?
You do?
Yeah. I feel like you'd be great on like a Kendrick album.
Kendrick album. Yeah.
I mean, like the song with Busta was like my childhood. Like that video was so amazing.
I feel like. Are there any rap artists that you would work with as of right now today?
I would love to work with Kendrick.
Yes.
I really enjoy listening to his work. Who else?
You already worked with Cole.
Yeah, and with Missy is a great friend of mine. We'll see.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
Well,
I appreciate your
Janet,
time.
thank you for your time.
Thank
This is
you.
Very valuable.
This is by far the most iconic interview
Definitely.
we've ever done.
in my
Janet
life.
Jackson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
I
you
really
coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.